Okay, so here's all the ingredients for the hemp cheese. There is also supposed to be salt also, but I left that off the plate. This is the hemp seeds that I'm using. You could also use cashew nuts or sunflower seeds. I've made cheese a lot with those. I wanted to use hemp seeds because I find it better for digestion. This is nutritional yeast. If you don't like to use yeast, then you don't have to use it, but it does help to add the cheesy flavor. If you maybe wanted to get into fermenting cheeses, then you could probably get away without using the nutritional yeast. This is sea moss. I boiled it and then took it out of the pan and put it on the plate so you could see it. This is the agar-agar powder. This helps set the cheese. And after this, you'll see I boil it as per the instructions on the packet and mix it, and then I add it to the mix. This is mustard seeds. I do find that mustard helps to give cheese a good flavor. I learned that years ago when making things like macaroni as a teen. And it can have a slight bit of bitterness, so I'll show you what I do to help with that. This is onion powder, or if you eat garlic, you could add garlic powder. It's just anything to just give it a little bit of extra flavor. And then here's the agave. This is what I use to go with the mustard, because the mustard can be a little bit bitter, and then the agave takes away from some of that bitter flavor. Adding sweetness to anything bitter helps take the bitterness away. And then I'm adding some habanero for a slight kick. You obviously don't need to use habanero. You can flavor the cheese however you want. You could use sun-dried tomatoes. You could give it a smoked flavor using like smoked salt, smoked paprika. You can use different herbs and spices. Really use your imagination really when flavoring the cheeses to make it taste good. Okay, then next I'm mixing up the agar-agar. It's just being boiled and then brought down to a simmer for a little while and stirred with the whisk to get out any lumps. And then I just put everything in the blender. You do really want a good blender for this to make sure that it gets all the lumps and bits out and that it's nice and smooth. Now, I didn't show you all of the blending process because I ended up needing to put my phone down and use two hands. You want to be careful not to add too much water, so it's not too runny and lacking in flavor. So it was a little bit challenging to get it blended up, but here you can see it's nice and smooth. And now I'm adding some salt because I did forget to add the salt, and I did actually have to add quite a lot of extra of the seasonings I used because the hemp was quite overpowering, especially compared to like the cashew. So I added quite a lot of extra of the seasonings. So just keep mixing it up until it tastes good, adding more flavor as needed. Here you can see I've added it into some porcelain bowls where it will set. At this stage it's kind of a little bit spongy feeling, almost like something like Play-Doh. And here is what it looked like when I took it out and I sliced it. You can see it slices good. And in fact, don't be afraid. When I first blended it and it was cool, it didn't taste the best, but after it cooled all the way down in the refrigerator and the flavors had time to infuse together, it tasted really good. And I would say this tastes more like, the texture is more like Parmesan when I used the hemp seeds. Unlike when I used the cashews, and it was probably more something like cheddar or more waxy Gouda type cheese. But yeah, you can see how it grated good. It grated really good. I was really pleased with it. Now, if you find that your cheese is too soft, then you just need to use more agar and that will solve that problem for you. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.